jump around.
It's rare that I'm on time, because I'm black, black people time. So there's going to be a big storm coming through America. It's going to just drop snow everywhere, you know. But let me play the intro and we'll get started. Um,
Welcome to the Midnight Show with the Midnight Crew, Rotncorpse, Angela Arrega, James Colley, Terry Diamantis, and our host, T. Alexander. With special guest, the One-Ton Hammer. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Midnight Show. I'm your host.
Worst intro ever. Fire that guy immediately.
Replace.
I'm just tickled that Jack had to mention me in a promo.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing ever.
Like I said, welcome to the Midnight Show. We have the One-Ton Hammer making his second appearance on our show, and hopefully not his last. But let me introduce my lovely guest. My lovely co-host. Starting with Rotncorpse. Hey, Rod, how you doing?
Oh, not so bad.
What you been up to today?
Did shoulders, also visited my folks and put some grips on a gun that I left at my folks' house because I don't need to bring another one to my apartment.
I hope you don't got a Liberty safe.
No.
Good. Next up is Angela Arrega, the resident cat herder, team mom, and moral center of our stream. How you doing, Angela?
I'm doing great. All of my favorite men on one stream. Except for Scribe. He's missing.
Oh.
Pretty sure Monkey would get offended by that as well.
Aww.
Who?
What about Frost?
And of course, Jack Cochran.
What about Gunski? You don't love Gunski?
No one likes Gunski.
Nobody loves Gunski.
Well, I'll be
I like Gunski.
Gunski tomorrow for Quippers United.
Somebody just dropped off some a special article. I guess he wants me to read it. I hate you, Frosted. But we'll get to it later. Wait a minute. Let me continue. James Colley, how are you doing?
No.
Damn.
Go on, choose the bright side.
Mr. Sunshine.
Yes. Tier,
Yes, sir.
just because Frosty drops off an article. He had an opportunity on Friday to do the corner.
He did.
This does not make his the corner adjacent show.
Wait a minute. Oh, God. I have to read this shit. I have to read it.
Oh God.
No, when I start reading it, you will get the reason why I read it. Frosted, you are going to burn in hell, and I'm going to join you there.
Well, I'm pretty sure Tier didn't set up, Sad Libs Double Prompt Edition, nor Poe or No Gender.
Yeah, we're only doing the capture contest because I like that one. Fuck those two games.
No, the gender guessing game is the best one.
No, capture contest is that.
No. The capture contest is the weakest game.
Oh,
I like the caption contest.
Well,
See?
you've also got to remember, I don't play that one. That's for the chat.
Yeah,
that's true.
it's lazy.
Speaking of which, Terry Diamantis, how you doing, Terry Bot?
Good. There's a few good things been happening. I'm going to get $3,000 of my own dollars back from the government, which is always nice.
Sweet.
They stole too much from me, basically, and so I filed the paperwork to say, hey, give me that back, and they said okay. So I'll be getting that. I won categories comprehensively. So if you go watch Johnny's Minions Night, I was the clear winner of categories, no matter what Sanguine says.
Oh yeah, especially with the R.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really, you won.
Yeah, so things are going well.
That $3,000. How much is that in American money? Like $2?
Yeah,
$2.
I don't know the actual exchange rate, but I would imagine that. Yeah, probably like $2,000 US dollars, something like that.
Not bad. And last but certainly not least is our guest, the One-Ton Hammer. Hey, One-Ton, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Now that I have power, thank you.
Yay!
I can't tell you the stress. I'm going to be on the show tonight. Oh, guess what? The power's out. Oh, wonderful.
Well, it's
Is it
like
Nintendo power?
The Jews have all the money and the whites have all the power. So obviously, you were lying about the blackout.
Yeah.
Well, when the blackout. Yeah, see, that's what it is. You need to get yourself some affirmative action and get more power.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how dark it is. Oh, I probably should have said it that way, but at night in the Pennsylvania mountains with no moon, man, I'll tell you, it's like a video game. You cannot see 3 feet in front of you.
Wow.
It's one of those things that he's going to have to smile so you can see him.
Damn.
All right, well, I'm not going to go that far.
Oh, wow.
The racism today is just off the charts.
You fucking love it.
I can't believe that came back.
So before we get into the Frosted article that he so kindly provided us, there are a few items I want to talk about and get your opinions. The first one is I was recently listening to a Tim Pool video, right?
Why?
Yeah.
Good question.
First thing I thought.
I'm at work. I'm bored. It's on autoplay. Tim Pool.
Okay. You're allowed.
And he was talking
recommendations.
I probably did. It was talking about how Nikocado is a symptom of a disease in our culture, and he said something about he wants to shadow ban that type of content. I'm thinking about this like, no, who would give that type of power would always eventually abuse it.
Me, give it to me.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, who watched The Watchmen in this situation?
No, you can trust me. I'll be good.
Yeah, Terry's not going to use it.
Terry, who's going to watch The Watchmen? Who's going to guard? Who guards the guardsman?
No, Terry's just not going to.
Needs to. I'll be a good.
Quite literally, Terry's not going to ban anybody. He's just going to be like, and I'm going to order food.
Yeah. I would not ban a single person.
Terry's going to have the band hammer, and he's going to I'm just put that in the corner somewhere and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, we got to remember, when we're all up and awake and doing shit, Terry's asleep. So he won't know about it. But I was thinking about them, like, as much as I dislike Nikokado's content, like mukbangs and shit like that, I wouldn't ban it. I wouldn't derank it. I wouldn't shadow ban it. I probably would do an age content warning, I guess, but he has every right to make that content, even if he is destroying his body to do it. It's his body.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck if he wants to be a big fat ass.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good idea, but it's his bad idea to do.
Yeah, it's his life, his body. Who are you to tell him he can't do something? And I get the sentiment behind it. It is promoting something negative, but you have to counter that with, hey, that's not healthy.
Okay.
Well, I don't even think he's promoting it, because you have to ask yourself, do you want to be more like Nick Avocado or whatever the hell his name is? Like, if you look at that guy, are you thinking, I want to be just like this big fat fuck? Like no one is thinking that. They're thinking, "Oh God, I am never eating again."
I kind of look at it like this. As far as there's a lot of things I think that are trash out there that shouldn't be programmed or shouldn't be on whatever, or it should be behind a paywall or whatever. But at the end of the day, banning it, you're just as bad as any Karen out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are, just because it's something you don't like, something that you don't want to see, doesn't make it wrong. I don't like fucking sweet potatoes. Just using food as an example, I'm not going to tell people not to eat them at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
don't throw them my plate.
Pineapple on pizza. Everything else you're allowed to eat.
Yeah,
okay, you're both trying to get on my bad side today.
All I said was I dislike it. I dislike sweet potatoes. You can have all, Angela, you can have my portion of the sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving.
See, you made it okay because you said you're not gonna tell me that I can't have sweet potatoes.
Like, go right ahead.
Jerry
Like,
just said pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Oh,
it doesn't.
No, sir. I just had a wonderful pineapple.
I love pineapple
and pepperoni pizza.
What are you fucking?
I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're both going to the gulag.
Ham and pineapple is like a really favorite topping of mine.
God, are you
Hawaiian pizza? They even have a name for it. Hawaiian pizza.
Pepperoni and pineapple is actually my favorite pizza.
Both of you, your taste buds are weird. Like, what is this? Nah, in all seriousness, I don't mind pineapple on pizza, and I don't like sweet potato. Like, just you keep that on your plate. I'll keep I don't like turkey. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, well, you can't have Thanksgiving. You can't have turkey for Thanksgiving because I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, who am I to dictate what others do? Now, if you come to my house,
you're considered a superior citizen according to the current regime.
I don't feel fair. But if you come to my house and I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner, turkey's not going to be on the menu. It'll be a ham, but not turkey. Okay. You know, and that's okay. You know what if you come to my house expecting turkey and sweet potatoes, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Well, if you come to my place expecting dinner, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I don't.
Because you live in Australia. Do you guys do Thanksgiving?
I ain't cooking for your bitch ass.
Well, we don't do Thanksgiving, but I'm just saying I ain't cooking for you no matter what the occasion is.
Well, Ty, your meals are all fucking pre-cooked, and you just shove them in the microwave.
Yeah, and I have enough for me, not for you. So go get your own.
Why do you
celebrate Thanksgiving? Get the food, I'll cook for you. I don't mind.
I don't understand why other countries celebrate Thanksgiving. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's our. Don't. Oh, you don't?
No.
Because I know Europe doesn't. Obviously, they wouldn't. But
no, I mean we have like Australia Day, which I suppose that's more like the 4th of July.
Canada has Boxing Day.
Yeah, Boxing Day is after Christmas. Yeah, I mean, we've got the Queen's birthday, which I imagine that you don't celebrate.
The King's birthday?
Well, I mean, Queen, King. It's not their actual birthday. It's like a set public holiday, and yeah, it's Queens or Kings depending on who happens to be in charge.
I do want to say this: you come to my house, you're probably going to end up scared, not disappointed, because if you're unannounced, you're getting greeted by a gun. 2, original Hawaiian pizza was created in Canada. And 3, current Hawaiian pizza is just burning the ever-loving shit out of it.
Dick move. Funny, but dick move, Rodden.
Oh, dude, that's been all over the internet. You are late to the game.
Well done, sir.
Bravo.
I think pork seems to be more popular in America because I really do not like pork. The only pork products I can eat are like ham and bacon, but like roast pork or pork chops, I cannot eat them. I don't like them at all.
Oh, I love.
I haven't had a pork product since I've been on my diet, which I started maybe 2-3 years ago. I really haven't had much pork.
I had bacon earlier, and then last week I made a pork tenderloin in my air fryer. That was amazing.
Okay,
Yeah,
I am kind of along Terry's lines. I like sausage. I like ham.
That's what
Well,
she
you're
said.
Jewish.
I can do. Yeah, I'm not supposed to like any of that.
No.
I know, that's weird.
And I can do up to 2 slices of bacon.
Yeah,
So you like
depends-
sausage?
Indeed, sir.
Good
It
old
go
depends
around
on the
your
type
mouth.
of sausage. Like there are some pork-based sausages that are okay, but generally I'd rather eat beef, chicken, lamb. Like that. That's kind of where I'm at, rather than pork. I'm not a huge fan.
But remember, you're Greek, so lamb is your like go-to food.
Lamb is amazing. Lamb is the best meat.
If you haven't
Actually,
had a good
lamb
pork,
is really good.
so Terry, if you've never tried a good pork tenderloin that's been made, I'd recommend trying it once. Then, if it's not your bag, it's not your bag. But yeah, the rest I can understand. I don't really do pork chops, other than really ham and bacon. Occasionally, there's not too much pork products I do.
Well, we'll put it this way: if I went to someone's house and they like served pork for dinner, I wouldn't refuse to eat it or anything. I'd still be like, okay,
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's what they served. I'm
not
gonna
what
eat
you're
it.
going to go out of your way for.
But if you give me the choice, I will not choose pork.
Yeah.
At the risk of sounding gay, there isn't much meat I don't like.
Yeah.
I like
No,
pork. I like
would
beef.
try
I
it.
like poultry. I like it all.
There is so many different meats that I would try if they were readily available. Because I've never tried deer, like venison. I would try that. I'm very
Venison's delicious.
I want to try kangaroo meat. I wonder what that shit tastes like.
The only
It's very gamey. I don't mind it, but I wouldn't like prioritize it.
Okay.
depending on the type of person you are, there's the 2 best venisons in the world are either free because someone else killed it and made it for you, or the one or your first deer that you killed, gutted, quartered, and cooked yourself.
Makes sense.
Because no, I'm fine with trying new foods. Because when I went to like work functions, if there was something like exotic on the menu, I'd just try it. So, like I had lamb brains as my meal for one of the work functions, and I mean they weren't great, but I'm still glad I tried them. And now I know what they're like.
I could probably try lamb brains, but I'm not doing like snails or
I've tried
clams.
snails.
Just
I like
hard
clams.
past it. They just look really weird to me, and I just can't get past it.
I've
That's it.
had,
I can't do yogurt because I can't get past the smell. I can't do cottage cheese because that just looks disgusting.
Be very careful with head meats, and I'll tell you exactly why.
Be very careful with what?
Between clams and
Head
oysters.
meat.
Oh, head meat.
I don't know
Go
the
ahead,
difference
James.
between clams and oysters, but I do
'Cause
know I like oysters.
Because of prions, if I remember correctly.
My uncle died earlier this year. They had went to India, and he had tried head meats over there, and he ended up getting mad cow because they don't check for that shit.
Yeah, that's also a way you can get prions disease. That shit does not die easily. That shit
And
from what I know of.
he went hard. It was a hard death, and it wasn't easy.
Okay. Now I don't want to eat ever again. Thank you, James. I
Yeah,
love you too.
but like head meats, like brain, cheek meat. And that's just abroad. See, in the United States, you would have to almost go to someone that's butchering their own shit to get cow brain or something like that. But as far as like processing plants, they can't do it because the USDA won't let them.
Okay.
But yeah, you would have to go to someone that's doing their own butchering.
So go to an actual butcher.
And no, not even then.
No,
because they're
have
regulated
to
by
know
USDA.
someone who brings or it's like raises their own animals.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but even here they are even required to test their animals.
But
If you're going to sell that kind of those particular cuts, you have to test your animals.
yeah. And
Well,
if
it's one of those things, I think, kind of like the Amish as well. They don't have to test it because they don't typically sell it. If it's being given away, you don't have to have it tested.
Yeah, I'm talking about, I go to this taco place, and literally my favorite thing that they have is called tacos de cabeza. It is not brains, by the way. It's actually cheek meat, and it's delicious.
What kind of meat?
Best
too
tacos
greasy.
I've ever had.
I just like what Rotten has done with his name, where he's like put corpse as the headline. I thought that was cool.
We're all a little rotten, aren't we? The second thing I would like to bring up before I get into Frost's article is, what the fuck is going on in New Mexico? Who does this crazy bitch think she is?
What is she doing?
Okay, what happened?
She thinks she's the governor, if I remember correctly, or whatever.
Queen. She thinks she's the queen. All right, so the governor of New Mexico has, for 30 days, banned concealed carry, open carry guns
in two counties.
Just 2 counties, Albuquerque and I think one of the surrounding counties. And she went on a press conference and said, "Oh well, there are limits." She declared a statewide health emergency to do it.
No.
I don't think
Second
that's
Amendment.
Something.
Well, one that's
you can do.
abusing the powers that be of that, so she shouldn't be allowed to do it. Because she's trying to say, oh, it's a health emergency. You don't just get to declare a health emergency to enact something that can go against the rights of others.
But what's the saying? If you give them the power to enact stuff during emergency, they'll always make an emergency.
Yeah, because they did it during COVID. She thinks she can do it now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what condition she's citing to do that?
No, she
just because it's
there was a shooting.
Yeah, because there was a shooting, she's declaring it an emergency, a public health emergency, and just doing it because she thinks she can. Because it's declared a public during times of like certain emergencies like that, they can actually basically postpone rights for a while, for whatever. So she's just basically trying to bogart in to do what she wants.
Is that turtle? That duck a little young to be fucking that duck?
It's a turtle duck from the Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Talking?
Jesus. James.
So
you like
and the 2 sheriffs of Albuquerque, or like I think maybe a district, if I'm not mistaken, said, "Yeah, we're not going to fucking enforce this shit." Like this is,
which is funny as well, because like Albuquerque is the most likely place you'd get shot by the cops, not by someone else. They do have some of the highest police shootings in the country, last I knew.
David Hogg and Ted Lieu are both saying that basically she can't do that. It's unconstitutional. But Michael Knowles is saying, actually, yes, she can.
Brian Krasenstein, or one of the Krasensteins, is trying to say she can.
No,
Michael Knowles, of all people, is saying, yeah, no, actually, she can do that. It's like, the fuck? Not what you'd expect Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire to be saying.
Did you just say that dumbass from
David Hogg? Yes, he did say something smart.
Oh my!
Well, no, he didn't.
Well, he didn't say something smart. He said something correct, actually correct.
He finally found a brain cell, and it actually fucking worked.
No, he did not. He was told what to put on Twitter because him and Ted Lieu basically said the exact same tweet. So clearly there is a script that they have to follow.
That doesn't like me.
There is no way David Hogg is like smart or actually thinks this is okay. He is rabidly anti-gun to the point of absurdity. There is no way this is his own thought.
Well, he also tries to pull the whole thing that he owns guns and whatnot because, shit, I have the. Okay,
I don't believe.
I will come back to this in a second. I have to find a meme.
I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth on a daily basis. Like his whole claim to fame is surviving an incident where he wasn't even fucking there. Yeah, and he used that as a platform to, I won't say start him, but get his 15 minutes.
Yeah, and also
he's
got him into Harvard.
Now, to be fair, it is possible that he has some type of twisted version of survivor's guilt.
Possibly.
But that's still psychosis. That's not something that you get credit for.
Remember, they had to bully that kid.
This is basically the meme that happened because he posted a thing of him going to the range. And, like, quite literally, that's about how shitty his target was with iron sights on a rifle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that looks like me with some of my good handguns at that range. Like, 20 yards is longer than you think. But when you're using a rifle, it's a lot fucking closer and easier to shoot.
All right, so the whole, all right, I whenever I'm talking to one of my coworkers and they bring up why would you need a hack? One of my really lefty coworkers, who are anti-gun, like, why would you need that? Now, bring up the situation between a man that had feral hogs attacking his farm. Had he not had his gun that could shoot off enough rounds, those hogs would have killed him and his daughter. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his daughter.
Dude, feral hogs.
Yes, his kid was out playing and the hogs decided to.
Yeah, well, he could have used like a handgun. Like, no, those hog hide, they take a bullet and keep on fucking moving.
Hogs are almost like trying to kill graboids. Like you're definitely just going straight for penetration and nothing else. Yeah,
and well, he could have did. No, he couldn't have. Like that gun saved his life. Well, you don't need it in the city. Well, it's not law-abiding citizens in a city using those types of weapons. If those types of weapons are in the city, I'm pretty sure it's not a fucking average guy. And even if I wanted to own it, I can own it. I have the money. I want to own a tactical fucking nuke. If I got the money to buy one, I think I should have one. Yes, I want a tactical nuke.
By the way.
Yes.
I need to break in and remind everyone, Kefki wins everything.
Okay.
Kefki is the winner. She is the winner of stream.
Yes. She wins everything.
Yeah, I agree, Kefki. Feral hogs, like, those. And then you got other animals like fucking wolves. Like, if they come at you in packs,
well, shit,
I'm pretty sure.
Did you hear about what happened up in Canada? Because feral hogs have made it up there of how there's some feral hogs that were breeding with these genetically modified pigs that they were having to like survive Canadian winters and whatnot better, and feral hogs started breeding with them, and it's like, dude, do you want orcs? Because this is how we're gonna get orcs.
We're finally gonna get pig orcs.
The only thing we can hope for is that the orangutans get smarter so we can band together, because apes strong together.
Wow.
I came up with that last part on the fly because I remember saying we're talking about it yesterday or Thursday or whatever.
Yep. Hogs ate old men in fucking Hannibal. Yeah. But it's I fucking hate this because my fifis, your rights, you lose your rights because of my fifis. I didn't harm anybody, so why should my rights be trampled on just because I have the potential? Well, if that's the case, everyone else had the fucking same potential.
Well, I always end up, whenever someone wants to be like, well, why do you need a gun? I bring it to their vehicle. And I find out what they have or what they'd like to have, especially if there's someone who's into racing or motorcycles or whatnot. Like, why do you need that? You don't need anything more than like a regular pickup or a sedan. like for depending on what you do. You don't need a sports car. And guess what? Regulating those isn't removing your rights because you still have the right to travel. But I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to shoot guns and defend myself and go hunt.
Yeah.
I want to hurl rock at very fast speed.
Yeah.
My reply to those people who say, "Why do you need that?" is that it's not a need, it's a right.
Shit. Honestly,
That usually shuts them up.
honestly, the most dangerous weapon I possess is my mind. You cannot legally give me I can take anything in a clever man's hand. Anything can be a weapon.
Well, you know, I have a pretty nice 8-inch raping tool, and it is still my right to carry that. So
Hey,
I can penetrate anywhere I want to.
remember, you ban guns and you get knife crimes. Knife crimes, like England, they banned fucking handguns and shit like that. Knife crimes went up.
Oh, my personal favorite is always when someone's just like, well, England, blah, blah, this. And it's like, bro, you realize England, the country, isn't even as big as some of our states. So you can't go gross population of the United States versus gross population of England or the United Kingdom. You would have to do England, or it's like the UK versus individual states.
Isn't it like Europe can fit inside Texas?
No, England can fit inside Texas.
England's like the size of fucking Rhode Island.
Yeah. England's tiny.
It only looks big because of the goddamn map, the way the globe is designed.
That is true. That is true.
It only looks big because of Ben.
Even look big.
It's not the size of your land; it's how you use it that
No,
matters.
but it is true that the way we do maps, the things further from the equator look bigger or smaller than they actually are. I forget, but
yeah,
like Africa is fucking huge and it's not that huge.
Yeah, but because you've got a globe trying to be represented on a 2D plane, the proportions get skewed. Like things are not as I think Africa is actually much bigger than it looks on the map because of the way the scaling works. And something like Greenland looks huge, but it's actually tiny in real life. It's like
there's actually a word for that, but I can't think of what the word is right now.
Alice in Wonderland disease.
But,
it's perspective shift.
That
I
was not the
actually
word.
saw a really good thing on Twitter where, this is going back to the gun rights, where someone was talking about the right to healthcare, and then the guy.
Oh yeah, it was Bernie Sanders. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is like, healthcare should be a human right, and he's just like, the Second Amendment's a human right. Like, I'm pretty sure no one's stopping you from buying guns. He's like, no, since it's a right, I want the government to buy my guns. He's like, that's not how rights work. And he's like, really now?
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, he's like, I want the government to buy me a gun. He's like, no, the right just means that the government can't stop you from accessing it. It doesn't mean they have to buy it for you. It's like, is that how rights work? All of a sudden.
Wait a minute. All right. So healthcare is already established in the you have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's already there. Life, healthcare. Bam. When the first thing it states.
No, hold on. The thing in that
healthcare and life are not the same thing.
Yeah, and it's supposed to basically be for the healthcare, and that whole thing is that they necessarily can't deny you. But you can't force a place to provide healthcare to you, because to do that is to force someone to work potentially, which could be considered a form of slavery because you're not giving them a choice. So you're taking away their
slavery.
Yeah.
It unambiguously is slavery.
I'm not for social. I'm glad we have a forecast healthcare system.
If we want to get into what I still think they ought to do with the healthcare system, I'm pretty sure, because if I remember correctly, Johnny works for insurance companies. He'd be out of a job, and I still wouldn't feel bad.
Yeah.
Well, I would prefer. It's like, if I could have it my way, we would get rid of medical insurance. Everything would go to per cost, so you could actually see how much stuff is supposed to cost you.
Yeah.
It would actually bring the cost a lot down for the medical, and the only way that you would be able to sue is from actual legitimate gross negligence. just because things didn't go your way or whatnot, or a fucking doctor's not diagnosing you because you think you're sick, but you're actually not, doesn't mean you can sue them.
I think if the doctor makes a mistake that very negatively impacts you, it doesn't even have to be negligence, just like a serious mistake, I think you should still be able to seek compensation. Like,
all right. So let me. I can better representation now. If a doctor gives you, say, a medication that doesn't do anything because it's not treating the symptom of the disease, it's all good. Like, you clearly understand it's not the symptom. However, if he gives you a medication that has a really bad side effect, but hey, it's gonna clear this one up, but you may get like mega shits.
No. Look, as long as he explains those side effects to you, I've got no issue.
Yeah.
If you then agree to take the medicine, that's on you. I'm talking about like if you're going in for surgery and while operating on your heart, he, accidentally damages your lung. Well, that you should be able to sue for that.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. That shouldn't be in the great scheme of things. But it's like if you're going in for a hand surgery and there's a plausibility that one of the like tendons in your hand could be nicked because it's near the surgery area, and it does get slightly nicked, fucking up your hand a little bit. That's one of those ones where it's like that's a little too. It's too plausible for it to be there. But it's like if he's supposed to be working on your heart and he gets the left side of your lung, on the left lung.
Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck did you get that far left, bro? You looked way too far left.
A reasonable risk. All right.
Yeah.
Like the hand example is like it's reasonably assumed it's too close. I cannot. There's no way in hell I can precisely cut, and there's a good chance I can avoid it. But one of the risks is I may nick it. It may make it worse. It's just something that may happen. However, like you said, you're too far to fuck over.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's why, like, Kefki said, it's like you'd basically kind of go in there with a contract of like, hey, these are the risks that could happen, and if it's something that's outside of what those risks were, you would have straight grounds to sue.
Yeah, no, if they explain the risks and you knowingly accept them, then you can't sue. That's obvious. Like if they say we'll give you chemotherapy, but there's a chance that
chemotherapy will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like,
okay,
you go in for, again, we'll go with like that hand surgery, and you come out missing a kidney. Well, there were things to happen, but yes, it's like that's a very gross, overly exaggeration, but that's what I'm going to.
Well, that's okay. You go in for hand surgery. Perfect example of why when I don't think there's a problem with suing the hospital. When my cousin was an infant, for some reason she had an IV. The nurse was fucking around not paying attention when she was doing something with the IV and accidentally cut off my cousin's thumb, which was not reattachable. My cousin does not have a thumb.
Yeah, that would be legitimate. That's gross.
Negligence.
Yeah, that would be considered like beyond gross negligence.
Yeah,
exactly. And this is something I do not blame suing a hospital for.
No, that's a reasonable lawsuit.
I think my dad should have sued when they gave him insulin, even though he's not diabetic, because someone with a similar name is diabetic, and they go, close enough.
Yeah.
And also, if you use insulin and you're not diabetic, you totally fuck up your blood sugar that way.
Oh yeah.
That's administrative. That's another type.
Yeah, see that's negligent. That's administrative negligence.
That's when you sue the hospital.
Yes, but when you get past that to where it's like, okay, so we're outside of those things to where beyond that, you can definitely sue. It's going to lower them having to have the malpractice insurance. It's going to get rid of the insurance adjusters that have to work inside the fucking hospital, which frees up money to go to other parts of the hospital. And then they can stop trying to, I say nickel and dime you, but it's more like 5 and 10 you to death because, they'll charge you for a bandage, but that single bandage is worth like a box of bandages.
Yeah.
And you can kind of be an asshole and be like, hey, I want an itemized bill and come in. Hey, here, I'm replacing the Band-Aid that you guys gave me. You can pull that $15 off.
Oh yeah, if you actually like, because in Australia we do have nationalized healthcare.
Well,
If I tried to pay like what the hospital actually asks, that would bankrupt me because they've got the money from the government, they can just write whatever number they want. They can say,
yeah,
$50 for a Band-Aid if they really want to.
that's why like
that Band-Aid, that $5 Band-Aid now costs $500 because they're gonna make the money from it.
That's like the $250 military screw.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What I was gonna say is that's like there's some of the things that people don't realize as well. You can also go through and do a pre-setup for certain procedures as well, so you can actually have that going through to be paid. Like that's how my cousin did it for his second child.
Hold on.
He actually set up with them so he could have the pregnancy and start paying off before they actually went into labor, and it cost him less doing it that way.
Okay, what were you trying to say here?
I was about to read Kefki's post. First surgery I had, they gave me morphine. Almost died while wearing an allergic to morphine bracelet too. Like that's
technically, she says they gave her morphine, and so maybe morphine is fine.
As opposed to lessine.
Well, maybe they shouldn't give you morphine, but but that's clearly someone is not doing their due diligence, and
yeah. This happened to me in a similar way. I was in the hospital with some problems with my kidneys, and they had me on dialysis. But I wasn't the only doctor to see me. I had other doctors who were taking care of me as well. So my cardiologist came in, and he says, your blood pressure has been too high for a couple of days now. He says, we're going to put you on heparin to try to bring your blood pressure down a little bit. And I was like, fine. And then I would go off to dialysis and have dialysis done. And I noticed that, whenever I had dialysis done, that after the process was done and I was back in the ambulance going back to the hospital, that I would pass out. And it was happening every time I went to dialysis. So I talked to my nephrologist and I said, hey, what's the deal with going to dialysis? Do all dialysis patients pass out after the guy says no? He says there's no reason why I should be passing out. And I said, well, I am.
The doctor put you on, wasn't it?
And I am. So when my cardiologist came back and I talked to him about it, and he says, what do you mean dialysis? He says, we're giving you heparin because you have high blood pressure to bring your blood pressure down. He says, when you go to dialysis, it also knocks your blood pressure down. That's why you're passing out.
Yeah.
Left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
See, and that's more they're not communicating.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going over your medical records like they should.
Look on his face.
Doctor.
The look on his face. Dialysis. He's like, what? I
didn't have that good a one. Mine was when I was going in for the cyst to be removed on my left wrist. I had to go have an x-ray done, and I can't remember what the equivalent of a colonel or full bird colonel in the Navy was. He's like, why didn't you tell me you had hardware in your right hand? And I'm thinking they're looking at him, and I'm like, okay, you looked at both of my hands. You can still see the fucking scar. It's in my record. Did you not go over any of this? And I'm pretty sure I even kind of said, it's like, didn't you go through my medical records at all? It's like that would make sense. You look for anything I've had.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have listed out all of my fucking surgeries as well. I mean, this is also the same freaking medical industry that, when I was like, hey, I have a cyst in my wrist that's bothering me and I can't really do push-ups. Well, have you tried not doing push-ups? Well, they won't give me a waiver for that. What?
Like again, it's just a communication. Like people that should know things aren't knowing things. Like, and then like you said, he should have read your file. Hey, why didn't you tell me? Well, you got my file. All that should be in there. Do you want to hear from the horse's mouth?
It's like, bro, don't you research? This is the reason why for aircraft maintenance, we would go through and be like, okay, for this problem, what were you doing? It's like when someone gets bit by a snake. Hey, what were you doing? Were you fucking with it?
Mhm.
That's a Bill Burr routine.
It is.
Don't you have some questions? Didn't you,
You know-
see it? Were you fucking with it? How did it almost kill you?
You know,
That's
the
a great
basic
routine.
who, what, where, when, and how, why and how, stuff like that. You ask questions, but that's a communication issue between and not doing due diligence. Kefki's issue is the same thing, not doing due diligence.
The one thing I was still upset about was they did not get me a picture of the cysts because I really wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Especially after when I went and talked, it's like when I came in after the surgery for him to look at everything for the scarring and whatnot. And he goes, yeah, Sergeant, you were the big winner chicken dinner. And I went, what do you mean? He goes, that was the largest cyst I've ever removed from anybody.
Oh,
Wow.
Ah,
It wrapped around
Congratulations.
my wrist. Yeah, it wrapped around my wrist almost 270 degrees.
jeez.
God damn.
Oof.
That sounds like that.
And he's
was
like, how
crazy.
long were you dealing with that? I was like, oh, like 4 or 5 years, still doing my job, still doing push-ups, sit-ups, lifting weights.
Wow.
I've still had the
that-
doctors
that-
like kind of like
you win chat tonight.
it was kind of one of those things, just like Sanguine's had, where the doc looks at you, it's just like, how the hell do you deal with this? And it's just like, I deal with it like I deal with it.
Yeah.
I want that males have a high pain tolerance.
It
Well, I
depends
mean,
on the-
once
that
something
all
becomes
depends
part
on
of
the
your
scenario.
just day-to-day
Yeah.
life, you get used to it. It's just the same with everything.
That's the doc. I told the doctor I have to go back to work on Monday because they're already screwing with my paycheck, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot get paid.
Oh yeah, like when my dad went in for surgery for his arthritis, they actually got to bring in or asked if they could bring in some other people to look at his x-rays and whatnot. And the specialist for arthritis was just like, I don't know how it could have got that bad when you still have the hand strength you have. And then you also have to understand, though, my dad, back when he was about probably 8-9 years younger than me, could take a scale that you would stand on that would go up to like 350 pounds, and just using his hands on the side of it, he could press it so hard that he would break the scale.
Oh
Wow.
My dad has insane hand strength. I think the only person who's come or that might be was his father, and comes close to him is his brother that I've ever met.
Wow. Are you related to fucking ancient kung fu masters or something?
He used to use these spring things, almost like those little hand things like you do, but they were to a machine die from the factory that my grandfather worked at, and he could never get the 500-pound ones because it injected liquid aluminum, I think it was, into the mold, so it needed a spring tension to help pop the mold apart. And my grandfather had gotten him those ones.
Exactly. No, like Rodden, you're telling us that your father goes outside, like punches a boulder for weeks on end, trying to attain harmonious balance to the universe.
No, my father. Well, that he was doing that for when he was younger, but now it's like he's been polishing and buffing stainless steel for fucking years. So he deals with having like a grinder in his hand for several hours a day at times, or because of where he works, the 2 pieces of stainless that get welded together, he'll have to use a hammer on one side and then a big old chunk of metal on the other, so he can hammer them to be level. I did the job for a little bit, and after about 3 minutes of hammering on fucking stainless, I had to peel or pry my hand apart so I could drop the hammer.
God damn.
Ouch, man. I've actually done that to myself before.
What is the third piece I wanted to bring up? Temple, Her Majesty of North Mexico, It was
Her
another
Majesty of
issue.
Oath.
Fuck. It's another issue that I'm trying to remember and I can't fucking remember. It'll come to me at some point tonight. I'm gonna read Frosted's article because that shit's fucking dumb. Frosted, you're gonna burn in hell, and I guess I'm gonna go there with you. I'm gonna pull it up and we'll look at it together. Share, present, share screen. Can y'all see it?
It's loading.
Yeah,
Now I can see it.
it's an alien.
Martians are white supremacists.
Probably.
They culturally appropriated the black eyes.
Frosted, I was
Martin-
going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but now I have to side with Tyr.
This is probably one of those things where, like, because, you know, the whites are supposed to be the Caucasoids, this is probably what we were based off of from whatever Jumbo fucking person who created us, supposedly.
Yakub.
Yep, Jumbo.
Yakub, goddamn it, gotta say it right.
Yakubibo.
Goddamn, goddamn albinoid.
Jacob.
I was going to say it's Jacob, but
All right.
Okay.
Martians versus black people. The way
Ooh,
to
I don't like Martians, but given the choice between the two, I've got to go with Martians.
oh, most definitely. I don't like black people either, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are we going to go with the whole thing of, like, what was it, the Chris Rock skit, to where it's like, are we talking about black people or are we talking about niggas?
I think that was
Depends, because technically there are leftist black people and leftist niggas. I can't stand either one. So, all right, the way to avoid confronting racism. Oh, Jesus Christ, Foster, you're gonna burn in hell for this one. In June 2023, a former U.S. intelligence official testified at congressional hearing that our government discovered and then covered up evidence of aliens on Earth. The witness, David Grush, alleged at House of Representatives hearing that the Pentagon recovered crashed extraterrestrial vehicles and biological remains believed to be of non-human origin. Apparently, the aliens figured out how to travel millions of light years to Earth, but couldn't figure out how to build a spaceship to survive Earth's atmosphere.
Oh no!
That's kind of brutal.
Oh.
In our world of Google Maps, where you can see the clear details of a house across the world from a satellite, and smartphones that take better pictures than professional cameras could just a decade ago, we still only can muster fuzzy photos of aliens, the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot. These little flaws in logic aside, I understand why the process of interstellar neighbors with brains twice our size fascinates us. But the hearings also reminded me of how quickly UFOs get our attention, while real problems like the deeply embedded racism here on Earth go begging.
Welcome to Earth.
Oh.
Welcome to Earth. Are you diverse enough to join us?
Get across the entire universe to visit us, but they can't land.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was that one movie where they were all allergic to water, and yet they still landed here.
It's yeah. Conveniently,
wasn't that Signs?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Signs.
Yeah.
That was a really bad
With Mel.
movie.
Yeah, the whole thing about that one was supposedly the water that they actually were hit with was contaminated with something, so it wasn't water itself.
That was Water Worlds.
No,
No,
the
it
one
was
where
Signs.
the swing away one where it's got all the freaking water glasses because the daughter kept saying it tastes funny. That's with Mel Gibson with freaking what's his name? What a twist! And yeah, that is Signs.
Yeah, but it was
The World of Worlds is a remake of the one that has Tom Cruise in it.
Yes, in Water Worlds, they were destroyed by rain. Like they couldn't deal with the rain.
No, it was
Oh.
the viruses because they were.
Do you know they differentiated those two movies by taking the word "the" out of the front of the title?
Hmm.
One's
Really?
called "The War of the Worlds," the other one's just called "War of the
War of the
Worlds."
Worlds?
Good marketing there. Change the
Oh.
title by one word. The.
Kind of like how for MAGA, it is a alteration of "Make America Great."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mag. All right, let me continue. Conveniently, when pressed, LaRouche admitted that he didn't have any first-hand knowledge of alien life and was just told information by people he could not name because it's classified. They're trustworthy, he assured us. A
Yeah,
2019
I'm
Gallup
next it out.
always. A Gallup poll found that 68% of Americans believe that the U.S. government knows more about UFOs than it's sharing with the public. A third of Americans.
All UFOs stand for. It's a fucking acronym of unidentified flying object. UFO doesn't necessarily mean aliens.
Alien.
Fucktard.
Thank you.
Yeah. We wasn't like a stealth bomber spotted at one point, and we like UFO.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a UFO. It's
It was
unidentified.
a
We don't know.
UFO. You did not identify it.
Look,
But
if you look at the sky and think, "What the fuck is that?" That's
Yep.
a UFO.
Exactly.
Isn't the new acronym like non-terrestrial vehicle? Like it's not UFO anymore.
Now.
Don't even ask. I know
See,
I know what
this is-
you're talking about.
It's UAP is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what
That's
UAP
like-
stands for.
Unidentified
UAP.
aerial phenomena.
Okay.
There it is.
That's right.
Which is still pretty much the fucking same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
UFO.
It's the new UFO. Yeah. Gallup poll: extraterrestrial sightings are extraterrestrial spacecraft visiting Earth. Congress held 2 hearings on UFOs in the last 2 years alone. Before those, the last time there was a hearing was in 1966 to hear testimony about the alleged alien site in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. For some reason, they're never in Manhattan, Chicago, or Miami. Several of my social media connections and others went into a frenzy after UFO testimony announcing in one form or another, it's about time the government admitted to us, or it's about time they came clean. Meanwhile, in a city near you, black men and women are facing an earthly threat. Really?
I don't really think aliens exist. There might be UFOs, but I don't really think aliens exist. Certainly not being able to identify something in the air, totally plausible. But aliens?
As long as Sigourney Weaver is still alive, it's fine.
Yeah, she can fight the aliens. She can fight. She'll fight the aliens for us.
Okay, the way I look at it is this way: with how big the actual universe is,
Exactly.
the ability, the fact that there not being life on another planet is highly unlikely. And that whole thing. Now, are there other species that have made it to where they are spacefaring, to where they can make it to here? Is a completely different sentence or a completely different idea.
Yeah.
I mean, an amoeba on Kepler B, plausible.
Well, even intelligent life on another planet is plausible, but it's that whole thing of them being a completely spacefaring race or species that can make it from their planet to ours.
Technically, we can make it to the moon and back. Now, we can go from our planet to the moon. Like, that's very much possible. But going from our planet to Mars is a fucking achievement.
Well, I think people underestimate just how big space is. So even if there are aliens on in another solar system, for them to find us, much less get here, is such a phenomenal undertaking because people really don't understand the sheer magnitude of distance that we're dealing with here, because the human brain can't even conceive of distances that big because we've never had any reason to comprehend them in our evolution.
Yeah, there are people that don't understand that you can travel for 12 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but people don't realize how unique life is because we are on a planet with life.
Mhm.
It's very normal for us to think that, well, if it's here, it's everywhere. And that's
Well-
really not true. If you look at how we are, what the conditions were, all right, you have to be in the Goldilocks zone. You have to have water. You have to have a large natural satellite. You have to have that magnetic field. You have to have the right gravity. There's so many things that are required for us to live. Imagine they have not yet found another planet. For as much as we've been looking, they have not found another planet with one large natural satellite yet.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Hammer, the size of
my
the
argument-
universe. Like, okay, we haven't found one, but we've searched like 0.00000000001% of the universe. It's like somewhere out there. Doesn't mean we'll ever find them. Doesn't mean they'll ever find us. Somewhere, some distant planet somewhere probably does have life on it.
Hammer.
But the idea of it like meeting us, that I don't believe.
Hammer,
The
we've
idea
had
of
this
us
not so
discussion.
is
much-
interesting enough to be wanted for them to want to meet us.
No, Hammer, we've had this discussion before, and my argument is there are species on our planet that exist in places that humans can never exist. The anglerfish is the perfect example.
Yeah,
It-
yeah,
the-
but that,
the-
that
the-
fish is not building spaceships. The point I'm
Oh
trying
no, I'm
to
not
make here
saying
is
it's
not
building spaceships.
the
but
point
I'm
I'm trying to
just
make here
saying
is not
life
any
can
one
exist.
thing. It's the number of things that have to happen.
Yeah, that's why, like we were kind of saying, or like I know I was saying earlier, there is more than likely life on another planet somewhere else in the universe. Are they
For sure.
spacefaring is a completely different subject.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's the highly unlikely one.
I mean,
When I
like
talk
you
about
said, amoeba
aliens,
is life.
I'm talking about how they relate to what the news is telling us today,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, that
Not-
makes sense.
not by what's possible.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
a lot of
the-
things
the-
are possible, but
The idea that aliens have visited us is absurd.
Right.
Agreed.
The idea of aliens existing as like a possibility, I'd say it's almost guaranteed. But they live on planets that are like so far away that we'll never meet, and they've probably evolved completely differently to us, even if they are intelligent, so to speak. Which I mean is also quite
And
likely.
people are just going to have to understand that when they got abducted, they weren't getting abducted. They just got they overdid on freaking drugs or something like that. And they were just getting a finger in the butt from one of their friends, probably, who thought it was funny.
I was going to say,
I
or the
don't believe-
military did something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Yeah,
any
I mean-
humans have been abducted by aliens. That is nonsense.
there's just, to me, there's just too many unique things.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
look at our
Too many
solar
impossible
system.
variables.
Look at our solar system compared to all the solar systems. Now, granted, we have only a very small amount of data when you look at the size of the universe.
Mm.
But just look at our solar system versus every other solar system we've seen so far. None of them have inner rocky planets, then gas giants, and then ice giants. None of them.
No, but what you've got to realize is the size of the universe. So let's say it's a quadrillion to one that this exists. If there's 500 octillion planets, then it's going to come up repeatedly. It's like I'm not denying that it's exceptionally rare, but there's
if you
so
keep
many
adding
chances for it to happen.
Yeah, but if you keep adding these rarities as you go, there becomes so many rarities that the number completely goes down as you go along.
No,
Most stars in the galaxy are not main G-type stars.
no. But
Almost
But it doesn't have to be
75%.
G-type stars. It just
It
has
does.
to
It
for
does.
light.
It does.
Well, it
Most of
does
the stars in the
for our
galaxy are red dwarfs.
no.
Because they're red dwarfs, they're small. Planets have to be closer to it to maintain an orbit. The problem with that is you become tidally locked, which prevents what? Life.
No.
Again, it prevents our life.
Yeah,
No,
it's a
my
kind of-
point is that okay, yes, it is unbelievably rare. Let's say it's a quadrillion to one. If there are an octillion planets, then you're going to get thousands of these very rare occurrences. Like,
Yeah. There's like-
the sheer size of the universe means it is almost impossible for it not to have happened at like some point somewhere else. It is like so vast. I think that's what is like. I'm not denying that the chance of life existing on a planet is exceptionally small. I'm just saying there's so many planets in the universe, far more than humans can comprehend.
It's that, and also, Terry, I think the thing that's being conflated here is we're looking at what took for us to have life on this planet, for basically us to come about.
Yeah.
So it's being thought of that the way we were brought about, it's like the things that had to happen for us to be brought about has to be is the standard.
What brings
for what has to happen.
everything.
Yeah,
There are standards in the universe that you just can't ignore. You're never going to find an entity that's built on molecules that are rare. In other words, we are carbon-based life forms because the most abundant value in the world, in the universe, is carbon. So if you're going to create life, it's going to be carbon-based. So, I mean, if you take all these little things about the universe and you keep stacking them up and stacking them up and stacking them up, we become more and more unique as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
our life becomes more unique.
I agree. I agree that it is exceptionally rare. But my point is that, like, the chance of winning the lottery is, like, say, 1 in 50 million. But if you play it 2 billion times, you're going to win the lottery repeatedly. It's just a scaled up version of that.
Well, it's also like the old joke of selling a woman or telling your guy that he's the person that they're 1 in a million. Well, with having billions in the population, that means there's like 1,000 of you.
Exactly.
I just think that the value is a lot smaller than that. It's not 1 in a billion. It's 1 in 100 billion quadrillion.
No. As I said, that was
think we're much rarer.
That was a scaled down version to make the point.
Yes.
Let's say it's like 1 in an octillion then, but there's 20 decillion planets.
And
it's the same principle applies. We're just using bigger numbers.
I think, like I said, the thing that's being kind of conflated in a way is the thought process because of what happened for humans to basically come into power would have been the same thing. And we're going through, existence. And majority of us are saying not necessarily even intelligent life, just life in general, because that whole thing of getting to an intelligent life, again, very different subject. So it gets narrower of like the things from my understanding that need to be there in a way that still it's still very broad, but gets narrower of what needs to be so intelligent or like grossly intelligent life, like closer to us as we like to perceive human race.
Well, again, if we look at it as far as chances and from that perspective, and we'll just use smaller numbers so we can understand it. Say there's 1 million planets.
Yeah.
You can use octillion, whatever number you want to use. But we'll just say for speech's sake that there's 1 million planets. You have to understand that 1 in a million could be a number.
Yeah.
Just because there are a lot of planets, if there are 1 million, being 1 in a million is still valid. We could still be the only ones. Just because there's so many doesn't mean that 1 in a million is not true.
That's why. Hold on, just a moment. That's why the old saying goes in this: there's one of two things that are in the universe. Either there is other life in the universe, which is terrifying, or there isn't other life in the universe, which is also terrifying.
I believe that was Carl Sagan, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds like
so. I think all we're disagreeing on is which is the bigger number. Because to me, the probability of life existing is a smaller number than the number of planets, whereas Hammer has the opposite opinion, where he thinks the chances of it are so small, it doesn't matter that the universe is so huge. The chances are still so remote that it hasn't happened a second time.
Well, given the article that has spawned this conversation, I think the question is whether or not human life should be classified as intelligent.
Agreed.
And if we're not careful with our wars, soon it'll be 0 in a million.
All right,
there would still be life on Earth, even if humans wipe themselves out.
Cockroaches.
Well, that's why
I tried I really tried to steer this back to the article so that we could finish and move on.
All right, let
I
me
know that I did my job.
I do want to bring it into this one as well, and that whole thing, because everyone always wants to go with the whole thing of like, we're saving the planet. Unless we do something to destroy the planet, to quote George Carlin, it's the people who are fucked. The planet's fine. I'm gonna go grab a drink and continue.
Yeah.
All right. Let me continue the article and we'll curse Rotten's name to the day we die because he gave us this article, and curse my name for reading it. Recorded numbers of books being banned across the USA on topics ranging from civil rights, heroin. Wait a minute, who's banning books about Rosa Parks? And
What?
let me read that again. Recorded number of books being banned across the the USA on topics ranging from civil rights, heroin, Rosa Parks to the Holocaust because they offend some groups. Citation needed. Funny, but none of these folks sought to ban countless racist books that many kids grew up on. Again, I need a citation.
Oh, they're talking about To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn and.
But it's not being banned. You can still get these books.
That's what
They're
she's
just not for
saying.
kids.
I'm assuming this is a woman. I shouldn't do that, but
let me go up.
My sex. But
nope, it's a guy.
Oh, really? Okay, what he's saying. My apologies, sir.
Hold on, let me see if I can find
the books about we're going to say African American people that he's talking about are being banned, while things like Huckleberry Finn and To Kill a Mockingbird are not.
I'm gonna quote saying I've been trying to make popular, but keep forgetting that I'm trying to make popular. POC, what?
Yeah.
POC what? POC said what? Jeffrey Crash.
That's not very
that's
cash
what
money.
The guy's saying. The guy is saying that they're banning all of these African American empowerment books, but they're not banning things like To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn.
As some would say, so he's retarded.
Mm.
Yes, clearly. His brain and his ass are connected through a single cord. But let me continue, because this shit is fucking stupid, and I hate you for it and hate myself for reading it. In 2022, Florida passed legislation to limit discussion in schools about race issues. Not, mind you, to encourage diversity of views to be expressed so older students can decide for themselves, but to prohibit certain topics that might make white folks uncomfortable. Another 16 states passed similar laws banning any discussion in schools about racism embedded in American institutions. Legislative efforts in 19 states are seeking to end diversity training in education. Wow, these are states I must visit. Most laws didn't stop there. They also prohibited discussions about conscious and unconscious bias, privilege, discrimination, and oppression. I'm not seeing a bad thing here. Wow, wait a minute. Another 20 states, wait a minute, 19, 20, 16.
I bet you when he was going and comprising this is exactly what happened.
How many states do we have so far?
Sir, this is a wedding.
we have at least. Wait a minute,
He's in his main state, denial.
Yes, that is 30. This is 34. No, this is fucking 30. God damn it, 35. So we have 55 states. Wow, amazing.
See, when this guy was told to do the math, instead he did meth.
Do the math. That's
He's like,
okay.
I already did the meth.
All right. Another 20 states are considering their own discussions and teaching bans. Most of these laws start with purporting outrage over critical race theory, claiming it unjustly attacks white people, even though most don't know what CTR is. But CTR, which is a legal theory not taught to you, God, this is talking points. The article.
I have to go with Monkey on this one. Why is it always in the whole thing like, oh, this is some legal theory that, it was originally honestly based off critical theory, not just critical race theory, and it's not even being talked about in grade schools and whatnot. We have these instances of where it was being talked about. Well, obviously, it's not that bad. They're going through and just saying that white kids or white people are responsible for everything, and whites should feel bad for that, and blacks should just feel like they're victims. Well, obviously, it's not that bad, and because it's happening, it's a good thing. It's like,
why? Like, I don't need a reason to hate you, Rotncorpse. You're Rotncorpse. I hate you. You being white is just icing on the cake.
Hate me for the content of my character, not the color of my skin.
I do hate you for the content of your character. You're an asshole, like the rest of us.
Hate him for the rottenness of his corpse.
not the color of his decaying flesh.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me continue. I don't think we got a little bit left to go. Let me continue. Blames all white people for racism. It just posits that the USA social institutions, including criminal justice, education, labor, housing, and healthcare. Why is healthcare always included? Like, who got shitty healthcare because they were black? Are replete with racism embedded deep within laws, rules.
Was it the Tuskegee or not Tuskegee Airmen?
Well, the
Tuskegee
Tuskegee Airmen were subjected to medical experimentation.
And there's also, MK. What was it? MK Ultra.
Yeah, but that was what in the 60s.
People.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I love how all this shit hinges on what was done in the past. Yes, shit was bad in the past. We were fucked up. Our nation has some dark times, some really dark times. We are I'm not saying we, but our ancestors did some horrible shit. Everyone's ancestors did some horrible shit. There are whole tribes, whole civilizations no longer in existence because somebody's ancestor decided, you know what? I want your land. I'm going to kill all of you to take it.
Are you okay?
No, I just had a cough. I'm fine.
Okay. But that's just what it is. Like,
no. The only reason any wars were ever fought in the past was over pronouns and misgendering, and otherwise it was only the white people causing problems.
You're right, because remember in Africa we was all living together in harmony, singing "Kumbaya" and sharing and just loving, free love and whatnot. And then the white man came.
Yeah.
I don't want to know about Kumbaya and all that. I do want to point out, though, that us white trash were as hit by MK Ultra as black people.
Jews don't count as white.
No, we don't count the Jews. They don't count. God damn it. Hammer, you should be ashamed of yourself for being a white man.
Yeah.
Let me continue.
Did we lose Hammer?
Did we?
No, we lost James. Hammer.
We lost James too.
I think Hammer muted himself.
He did.
Okay.
All right. Let me finish. It's only a little bit more. Deep in law process cause different outcomes by race. Instead of allowing the older high school and college students to learn about this theory, even alongside differing views, which I welcome, the mere consideration of race, considering that race may play a major role in our American system is under attack. It doesn't. Name me one law, one rule that is true for me that isn't true for Rotten. Like, Rotten, is there something? Is there a law prohibiting you from doing something that doesn't prohibit me, or allowed you to do something that doesn't allow me to do it?
I mean, I can't claim something's a hate crime because it was done against me. You can.
True.
Not that I would, but you know what I mean.
Not saying you would, saying you can.
But then, like, aren't we affected by the same laws?
No,
We're
because
supposed to be.
apparently it's not possible for people to hate us. Well,
Well,
to hate Rock.
to hate me, and well, Terry's in another country, so.
Well, I hate Charlie. Yeah, he's
it'd be like hate me and Hammer.
You know,
and
but
James,
that's
he's in spirit.
he's whack.
He's what?
He's what? I thought you had he's white.
Yeah, announcing every syllable of that goddamn word.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I think I spit on my mic a little bit.
I thought so, actually.
Wait a minute, let me finish this. Wait a minute. I want to know how. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell this connects to the title of the argument.
Can we just say the article is done?
We got a little.
We've been here an hour.
Angela, we got a little bit more. Come on, we can do this. We can do this, Angela. We can do this. Just a little bit more.
An hour.
Fine, I'll get to
Read
the asshole
article.
story.
No more comments until it's done.
Yes, ma'am. Damn, Team Mom is being Team Mom.
Okay, so about
I'm
aliens
sorry,
existing.
it's driving me crazy. It's been an hour. It's making me say shit that I don't like having to say.
This article's only been like 15 minutes.
All right.
It's the comments that are resulting from this article that are making it take an hour.
Sorry, it gets worse from there. Dozens of states have enacted restrictive voting voting laws which disproportionately impact Black voters. In 2023, lawmakers in 32 states introduced additional bills to make it harder to vote. This is all just the tip of the iceberg, and millions of Americans now support turning back racial progress we had over the last 60 years. Aliens beings with tentacles, 2 fingers are exciting, no doubt. And our minds are capable of thinking about more than one thing. But the anger and energy spent on headlines about our government allegedly hiding the existence of alien spacecraft or life on Earth versus the sometimes low or zero energy people put into demanding the same government address racism in healthcare, environmental policies, policing, and housing is, well, a bit perplexing. This has it ever dawned on anyone that green beans might leave our planet anyways if they saw how other people of color are treated? God damn it, fucking Frosted. Go to hell.
Is it over?
It's over. It's over. We're done.
Fuck
On call.
They're making me proofread and correct and explain his doctoral thesis, because that's what this shit is.
I wasn't listening. Can you read it again, T?
Oh, fuck yourself.
Elon Musk.
You, Terry, but oh my god.
Wait a minute. Can y'all see this picture of this man?
I think if we're going to do this, we have to go back to this from the actual start. So Elon Musk.
Yeah. The world's richest man.
And poster boy for narcissism.
Frosted, you gonna burn in a shiny hell.
There's like a special level just for you. I'm pretty sure.
Oh god, this fucking article. What the fuck?
I told you he wanted proofreadership for his doctoral thesis and decided to submit it as an article for whatever
medium
journalistic
I don't know what you guys are complaining about. It says 5-minute read at the top of the article.
If it was just a read, it probably would have taken 5 minutes because you'd have read the headline, you've read the first line, and said, this guy's a moron, and thrown it in the bin.
No, you'd have been bitching about it yourself and into the ground, or it's like, or you've been sitting there being like, no, this guy is fucking retarded. I don't know what the hell his goddamn problem is. And instead of having the conversation with 2 other people, you're going to have it by yourself. You might even get up, go to the bathroom so you can point at yourself in the mirror while arguing with no one.
What is wrong with you? Why'd you read this piece of shit?
Because you want to make sure when you're angry and you're having these things, that you're dictating the right proper facial expression.
See, that is...
Oh, God.
Now I understand how Rotten spends his time.
The funny part is, I do none of that.
Yeah, neither do I. That's
Rotten. All crazy. It's okay. You can admit to being insane. We're all insane here.
I mean, most of my talking to myself is done at work because I can think out loud since I'm in a high sound noise environment.
I don't talk to myself anymore until I started getting answers back that started weirding me out. Don't want to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, those answers started weirding me out.
That's a good sign that you should stop talking to yourself. When you start arguing with yourself and you argue back.
Hey, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
I think I honestly think arguing with yourself is a good thing to do, because as long as you can fairly represent the opposing viewpoint, it's a good way to actually get to what you really believe about something. Say something, see if you can refute it, and then have that argument with yourself and say, okay, but what about this? What about this? And then eventually you'll convince yourself
out
one way or
exactly
another.
what you believe in.
Well, my arguments tend to get a little violent. I don't want to do that. I don't want to beat myself up. I don't want to talk to myself now.
I was going to say there's a little bit of a difference between critical thinking and actual argumentation.
Well, I mean, sure, but you're still arguing with yourself.
All right,
Sure.
It's our favorite part of the evening, the asshole stories.
Oh no, we just did that. Frosted is the asshole, remember?
Oh yeah, you're right. And after the first article comes the best game, caption contest.
No. The best game is Poe No Gender Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And the follow-up, too retarded for TV.
The second best game is Sad Libs, and then the third best game is Super Seducer, and then the fourth best game is the caption contest.
Anyway, how did Super Seducer beat the caption contest? You just picked that you can't play. That's all that is.
Well, I should clarify. Super Seducer 2. That's the best one.
Okay, I want to read this one. I found it.
Oh boy.
It's a short one too. Just get our feet wet. Get our feet wet, as you say. Am I the asshole for screaming at a stranger in the airport?
Probably, but give me some context, please.
Hammer, are you there? Hold on, Frost.
Yeah. I'm here.
All right, I'm just making sure. My favorite part of the evening is the asshole story. Okay, so I went to a German airport to fly back home, Portugal. I was on the waiting queue for inspection. Suddenly, a man goes ahead, passing under the ribbons with his girlfriend, and I got angry because I waited almost 30 minutes with 4 bags for this idiot to pass under the ribbons. Because of him, the people behind did it too. Some people didn't do it, but looked really mad. I stayed quiet, but angry inside. They tried to pass in front of me as well, and that's when I got angry and told him that he wasn't special, and that he was an asshole for doing it. He got really angry too and screamed at me back. I ignored him and did everything to stay ahead of him. When I got back, I told some of my friends, and some of them called me an asshole for screaming at him just because, and not just staying quiet or be respectful. Am I the asshole? Fucking no.
Well, hold on. Since this was an airport, was this the air crew coming up?
No, it was him and his girlfriend. So I'm assuming this is a regular passenger.
How do we know that the pilot's girlfriend isn't one of the co-pilot or one of the other people who works in the plane?
All right. So let me
quite literally, they didn't say anything about that.
Wait a minute. Now I can't vouch because this is in Germany, but at my airport where I work, flight crew comes. They don't come through the line. Like pilots don't come through the line, and flight crew go through a special line. So I'm going to assume, based on what my airport is like, that it's something similar. Now I could be wrong. I will openly admit this.
Yeah, did you say your airport? You actually stole an airport? I mean, I knew
I
that
did.
but
boy.
Jesus Christ.
I did. I stole an entire fucking airport because I'm
That's
an
impressive.
asshole.
You should probably give it back.
Nope. But again, so I'm gonna make the assumption that it's very similar, and that this guy cut the line. He's an asshole, and you're not an asshole for yelling at him. I applaud.
Butter, dirty line cutter.
You know, and
Wow.
excuse me. Y'all know I work at an airport. Like this isn't any news, ain't
This is not
surprising.
news.
So I can remember quite a few Christmases where the lines were out the ass, holidays, and people would cut the line. Oh, well, I got to get to my plane, and, I can't wait in line. My plane leaves in like 5 minutes. I got to see my grandma before she dies. Well, so does everybody else in that line. You got to go to the back. But please, sir, can I? No, you can't. You can't just cut the line. And then the person would go to the first person in line. Can I get in front of you? And I'd go, no. You go to the ass end of that line, and you ask every person in front of you. And the first person that tells you no is where you stop. It's not about being an asshole. Like, you should have came early. You should have came on time. Yeah. Fuck you. You're not in the wrong, my friend.
You need to pull the old dad routine to where, hey, our flight leaves at 8 p.m. When do we need to get out of here? 6 a.m.
So when my mom and her fiance were flying out to Atlanta, Georgia, their flight wasn't until 9. I wanted them out by 6. I wanted them at the airport by 6. I told them, go to the airport now.
Yeah, depending on what airport you're going to be in, especially if it's near a bigger city, you want to get there at least typically 2 hours early, unless you're in a fucking rural area. Like, if I'm going to fucking Grand Rapids to go to the airport, yeah, I can show up a fucking no more than about an hour early if I want to, if not 30 minutes, and be fine. Because guess what? It's fucking Grand Rapids, Michigan, and most time of the year it's not going to be that bad.
Well, it was around Christmas.
But if I go to fucking O'Hare at any time of the year, that shit's gonna be fucking busy.
Well, again, it was around Christmas time, and I know for a fact that for the last 4 days that fucking airport was a nightmare. So I knew, if you get there at 6 o'clock and your flight's not till 9, you're not rushing. You could stand in that line for 30 minutes and not be worrying about shit. Your flight's not going up.
Most likely, depending on what time of the day it is as well. Because if that's it's a 9 a.m. flight and you get there at 6 a.m., you can get there and just get fucking straight shellackered at the bar because you're going to get in early enough anyways because no one else is fucking leaving that early.
Yeah, but it's Christmas. I would leave it early.
Most people want to try to leave at a later date. Or not a later date, but a later time frame. Because a lot of people are stupid. They're stupid.
That I agree. I don't think this person is an asshole. So I'm gonna give them a 5.
No, I don't think they're an asshole either.
Sorry, -5. My bad.
I don't think they're a negative. I definitely think the person who is just going straight through because they think they're better than everyone else is a straight asshole. And like, if one of the passengers would have like decked him, I'd have honestly said, I don't know what happened. Obviously, it shows that this dude just fell. Gravity won.
But you know what I found that at? Under everybody sucks. Like, that's not an everybody sucks situation. Hammer, what are your thoughts?
On
the asshole story?
Well, I think he got infatuated with us going back and forth.
I just, if you can come up with a scenario to explain why things happen a certain way. You can come up with an exception, but I find coming up with exceptions doesn't injustify the rule. Mm-hmm. No, if you truly do have an emergency where you got a phone call 8 minutes ago saying your grandmother's going to die, and you dropped the phone, ran right to the airport, and you were 4 minutes, not 4 minutes early enough to cut the line, then is that your fault? No, but that's the exception. So you could build a case around, well, he had a legitimate reason, but is that reality? No, I don't think so. So yeah, I don't buy that as a justification. If you're late, you have to just be at the end of the line. Sorry.
Yeah.
What is it's called? All right. So the concept I'm going to use is a similar concept. If you're a cop and everyone screams, "Oh, I can't!" Not trying to say this you're a Floyd incident, but you're like, you're on them. I can't breathe. Get off me. I can't breathe. And then the person takes that opportunity that you get off from and run. And it's every time you've done this, it's the same thing. I can't breathe. Get off me. They just fucking flee. And after a while, you stop doing that because, every other time it's been.
Don't shoot.
It's been a running situation. So you become kind of tone deaf to it. Like, you just ignore it. And I guess that's how I am with, oh, well, my grandmother this and my mom. And, when I was upstairs and I was working the lines, well, everybody has a sob story and everyone else wants to see their loved one before X, Y, Z happens.
It kind of goes to that whole thing. If it's you're more willing to think it's like, their grandmother, it's like a loved one's dying when they show up and quite literally they're carrying nothing.
Yes.
Like,
but you got like 6 bags.
But when you got like 6 bags, it's like, oh, okay, right. Yeah, you got off the phone.
There are indicators that they're lying. Yeah.
But even in your
scenario where the guy is going to get up and run away, you can make exceptions to that. Okay, you found that every time you let a guy up who says he can't breathe, they run away. So you run into it again, you put a handcuff on your arm, you put a handcuff on their arm, then let them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they can't run away, and you're off their back. So there's a solution, but that doesn't justify what obviously happens every time. Mm-hmm. You can mitigate and find exceptions and ways around it, but that's not the norm. Yeah. Again, this guy should go to the end of the line.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely.
Because that wasn't any like, oh, I have a sick relative or anything. That was just I don't care. I'm better than everyone else, and I should get to just do what I want.
Honestly, that's what it's sounding like. I'd almost say probably a celebrity in the area or a politician, something like that.
No, I would honestly say for the way it sounds by having the girlfriend, it's a fucking influencer.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that would work too. That's why I said a celebrity in the area.
Do y'all remember when it was 100 years ago now in internet time, but there was this influencer that tried to get a free hotel stay at like this ritzy hotel.
Oh, that shit was in like Ireland or something or other.
Yeah, I'll review it and
I remember that.
Yeah.
You'll get publicity, from my thousands of followers. No. They're not gonna comp you. They'll give you a discount.
Yeah.
Oh well, we can't do. We can put you up some sort of special rate, but we can't just give it to you for free.
It's an interesting rule about that. You'll find the person who doesn't have that many subscribers is the one who's trying to get something free. And the guy like Mr. Beast who has 1 million subscribers never asks.
Yeah, he comes in afterwards and he's just like, it's like pays for it in full. And it's like, hey guys, you ought to check out this place. They have great this and that. And it's just like, oh, yeah, because he followed it the way he's supposed to.
But even then, like, if say, what is it? If say you're doing a review of something and you're like a professional reviewer, it kind of skews you if they're treating you special and you can't give an honest review of something. Like if you're an honest reviewer, best example I can think of is have you ever seen Ocean's 13?
No, but I would say bring up the Yelp review episode of South Park if anyone saw that.
Yeah, that worked too.
They were trying to basically say that since they were a reviewer, they should get special treatment, and that's the whole thing. It's like, why would you want to give a reviewer special treatment? Because then, especially if they hear about it, it's like, oh well, my stay was comped and all that. Well, then of course they're going to give you better in that whole thing. Right. So it's not the service everyone else get. I want to hear this. It's like the person who went there and they just paid for it and then came out about later and was just like, yeah, dude, like I stayed here on a whim and they were just fucking excellent. I didn't even want a discount. Like I just happened to see him as I was traveling cross country and was like, this looks interesting. Let's stop here.
Yeah, you're not getting a full
experience. Was a really nice guy.
There's a gaming channel that I watch on YouTube called Gamers Nexus. The guy who runs the show is called Steve, and he reviews computers. It's a great name. And he reviews computers, and he makes it a point, and he lets everyone know up front. When I buy a computer from somebody to evaluate, because you can't send them one and they'll evaluate it. He has to buy one. He makes the choice of what one they review. He buys them. He says, I have my friend's girlfriend buy it.
Yeah.
I don't call up and say, hi, I'm Steve from Gamers Nexus, because you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to do everything perfect just for him because they want a good review. He has his best friend's girlfriend or somebody like that buy the machine. So it just seems like a random, everyday, average user. So he gets the machine that everyone else would get.
It's the reason why for gun reviewers, because I watch a few of them like Paul Harrell, Honest Outlaw, even Suits Double Out, and occasionally it's been a long time since I've really watched like Tim from Military Arms Channel. But like Such is very big on that. If he gets a gun sent to him for test and evaluation, he puts that up there specifically. Like Paul Harrell rarely ever gets that other than occasionally ammunition. And like when Honest Outlaw, he goes flat out and says, like I think he's gotten one test and evaluation gun. He's like, I'd rather go and find it at my local gun store because then it's a random one off the line. I didn't get one that they picked out to make sure everything was good.
Right.
It's like the paid shills who get review copies of things, and because they want that extra swag that comes with the fucking epic review and shit. Or the perks of like we got it first, like the Disney shills. What was it? Like who get the goodie? Like they get invited to the premiere and they get the goodie bag and they get the VIP treatment. Oh yeah, it was a great movie, even though it was a fucking nightmare. It was incoherent mess. But they want that perk of being, oh well, we get it first before everybody else. We get the exclusive and we get free shit.
Yeah.
You can't.
I'd rather get a good movie.
But again, it's still you still have those shills that would sell their soul for.
That's what I'm saying.
Exclusive.
That's a good movie. This is gonna sound horrible. A good movie is like it does touch your soul. You give a piece of your soul to that.
Well, I wouldn't even necessarily that, but it's going to be something that's enjoyable.
So
It's-
turn around like
Because, like, okay, to a lot of people, when I was talking to my dad about it earlier, because the Tremors series, the third movie is not a great movie. I still consider it a good movie because it's a fun movie.
it's a fun movie, and it's
Yes.
true to the other movies. It wasn't just some random weird shit. It was at least relatable to the other films. So
Yeah.
it may not have been
I
the
think-
best.
I don't think any movie is like a transcendental experience. It's just
Nothing is a transcendental experience.
no, but
No.
like,
That's what I.
The ones they
Okay.
think are transcendental experiences are fucking Oscar bait.
no, but Angela's saying like a really good movie touches your soul. No movie's ever done anything remotely close to that for me.
Well,
was
well,
gonna
you gotta
say
remember
not-
that you don't have a soul. You're a fucking AI.
Yeah, but
Not
Suburban
everyone-
Sasquatch.
What?
I mean, it touched Suburban Sasquatch. That touched everybody's soul.
It touched a lot of things.
I mean, see, that's a fun movie, but I mean, it didn't,
Oh, hi, Mark.
inspire me or like. Okay, no, that was fun.
That gets you right here.
You know, I agree. You know, B movies are epic. You know, like Birdemic.
Like
Sharknado.
Even stuff like Monty Python's and the Holy Grail that I've seen like 20 times. That's like a good movie, but I'm not like, my life was not changed by watching it. I didn't give a piece of my soul to the movie. It's a good movie. I liked it. That's as far as it goes.
All
For
right,
me,
so
what
there are a
makes
few movies. Go ahead.
For me, what makes
ahead.
good movies is at the end of the movie, I wish the movie kept going.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
That's what always gets me as being a good movie. If I'm like, no, don't go over yet. Tell more story. I like this. That's when the movie's a good movie.
Yeah, I can handle that to when it's like it has a little bit of the question that it still could go on, but it still has a good conclusive story.
Yeah.
Like it sucks about the ones that they were trying to set up for a sequel, but it didn't do well enough to get a sequel. I typically hate that aspect when they're trying so hard to set up a trilogy or a series. It's like no. You have to set up your first movie to be its own movie with a plausibility of sequels. Like, okay, since I talked about Tremors, first Tremors movie, the way it ended, since there was no conclusion upon where the graboids came from, what caused them, there could still be other movies, but that story itself had a conclusion.
Agreed.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be like a high drama either. I felt that feeling at the end of The Incredibles.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
cartoon, but I wanted to see what happened with that family next. Even though the movie was over and had a good conclusion, I was like this could be another half an hour longer.
Yeah.
I wish it was a little.
Like the Underminer.
You want to see how
the Underminer, exactly.
You want to see how they grew together as like fighting as a family.
Yeah,
and
I wanted to
off
see
each other's
more
strengths and weaknesses.
Right. I wanted to see more fights and more involvement and more development, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the movie, I was like, there's got to be another one.
I have a very simple metric for whether a movie or video game or anything is good or not. If after it's over, do I go to the TV Tropes page and keep reading about it? If I do that, it's a good movie. Because obviously I still want to be immersed in
Same
the world.
idea. Yeah, same idea. You want to know more, you want to see more, you want to be involved more. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing.
Mine's actually much simpler. For mine was I entertained? Because if I'm not entertained, I might be entertained.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Well, it's that whole thing. If I didn't enjoy, it's like find it enjoyable. I mean, it's like I can find it enjoyable and not want to look up more about it. But I've had movies where it's like everyone was trying to say, "Oh, this movie was so good," and it was just dog shit to me.
Well, I mean, when I say like looking up the TV Tropes thing, I guess maybe I'm delineating between a good movie and a great movie or game or whatever. Because like there's been stuff where I've gone, okay, yeah, that was enjoyable, and then like I had no desire to delve deeper, and maybe that's all it is like a great game / movie / TV show / whatever is one where I go, oh man, I need to stay immersed in this world, read the TV tropes, look up wikis for games, things like that, just to keep myself living in that world a little bit longer.
This is an old movie, and it's going to sound stupid, but I really liked Hancock.
I did too.
It was
a fun movie.
And I like the concept that he's not he has flaws. He's a flawed superhero. And after I saw that
skills, absolutely.
Well, and that one, if you look at it, they took the aspect of the Superman character, but instead of making a flawed Superman, they've made a flawed Superman-esque character. So it's not
right.
No,
this isn't Clark Kent. This isn't Superman. This is someone else in a different universe who is very similar.
And I remember very vividly after me and my girlfriend and her friends, after we saw the movie in theaters, I went to I suggested we go down to Barnes & Noble. I wanted to find the novelization. I wanted to know more. Like, I had questions that I wanted answered, because it was such a compelling story. Like, what were they? Like, how were they created? Like, what's going on?
She tells you that the female. Says
no, she said we were creating pairs. Yeah. So there had to be more of them.
There was.
Yeah, she said they're the last two.
Yeah, and I still wanted to know, like, what like definitively.
He wanted to know, like, why they were created, for what purpose.
Exactly. And
why did the other ones die?
Yeah, I wanted to know more of that lore in that world. Like, it was an interesting story.
Quite literally, it's that whole thing of, like, this could have had a legitimate prequel that would have
origin story.
Yeah, origin story.
Yeah, and it could have had a ton of sequels. What if the thing that killed the others or what defeated them came back?
Well, it's that whole thing as well. It could have been a different thing that was the reason why each different pair was killed off. It might not have even been a central single thing. So each one could have their own story depending on how many of those pairs there were.
Yeah, and shit like that. Like, in the lore setup in Hancock could have been expanded both ways. It could have been expanded backwards to the ancient times where they were considered godlike beings and divine, and the reason they were created for this one purpose. And now that the purpose is done, they don't know what the fuck to do. And you could expand it even further in the future, or like further down the timeline, where he's now a superhero-like figure who has some rough edges and shit now he has to deal with. It's not just regular criminals he has to deal with. He had to deal with, other similarly powered beings or more intelligent people that are trying to exploit his weaknesses. Maybe
that was a really good movie. There was a lot of great tie-ins with that movie. The fact that his line was, "Call me an asshole one more time." He says that a couple of times, and then when you meet her and find out she's one of them, she says, "Call me crazy one more time." I was like, "That's his line. That's the same thing."
Yeah, and it shows that
crazy is her trigger word. Yes, it does. It shows they're connected.
And again, I would love to explain like their history together too. Like, it's clearly that they were lovers. Like, the way she behaves around him. Again, this shit that story could have been expanded, and that would have made it a great movie. It was an interesting one-off movie.
The thing on that is, like I said, it didn't necessarily need to be expanded of those two. You would expand more of the others and like everything else. You didn't have to just expand upon those two, and that's where shit gets basically problematic is the shitty word term to go with it. Like, it's one of the things that I saw when they could have done a lot of other things to not make the dumb shit that was in The Force Awakens so much better, or that made it, I should say better, made it fucking worse, especially for having the Palpatine return and so much with the Skywalker line. Because when that happened was before I went to Okinawa. It was in the winter, and all I kept hearing was, "Oh, she's got to be a Skywalker. She's got to be a Skywalker." And I was like, I hope that Rey, Finn, all of them, none of them are fucking related to any Obi-Wan, Luke, any of them. They're like, why? And it's like, because it's called The Force Awakening, so she should be in a complete new awakening of Force users. And they're like,
But
why?
what it should have
Because
been,
you don't need the same fucking family in the entire goddamn thing. Going back to our discussion of Suikoden 4, it's the reason why Laszlo should not have been the missing son, because when you say, oh, the person who got this was already of royal descent, takes away their actual fucking things.
So you're
Right.
passionate about this.
It does actually fall into a lot of how Eastern theology is done, because it falls in the whole thing. Is it better to be born into something that's going to be greatness, or to have been born into nothing and achieve greatness? It's actually considered better to have been born into nothingness and to achieve greatness.
I believe the line is it's better to be born a noble and achieve greatness, or be born a commoner and become great.
Because there's a few different in like Chinese kind of theology, but like lore and whatnot of a fucking general that I can't remember. I think it's been a Dynasty Warriors, like a fuck ton or whatnot, who basically had that whole thing of they went through and ascended to a godlyhood, even though they were from a common lineage. And if you go through and say, oh, well, actually, they weren't born from nothing. They were actually the emperor's son from a bastard child that they thought was lost at sea because bandits attacked and he was swept away in a picket fucking basket.
Picnic basket. Mm-hmm.
So it takes away from what it was. Oh, so everything that he has, it sounds less than what it was.
Using history as the example, do you know who Hideyoshi Toyotomi was?
That sounds very fucking familiar.
So Hideyoshi was born a commoner. He was complete and utter trash, and he distinguished himself as a shrewd commander under Nobunaga. And eventually Nobunaga saw his greatness and saw his potential and made him one of his top generals. He, in a single night, he built a castle, like completely out of nowhere. He managed to build this castle in a single night, and it fucking just surprised his enemies that now this attack they were going to do was fucking useless because he had this castle. He had the protection of his walls, and Nobunaga saw that yeah, you're my right hand man now. Again, he started as shit, and he became a general, and he became his right hand man. And eventually, when Nobunaga was killed, he became the new shogun. He became the top guy in fucking history.
Yeah, he became the antagonist in the fourth Onimusha.
Yeah, but historically,
all I can say is with this whole thing right now is basically this has been us, except for ignore the advice thing. It's just we're going to talk and say, listen here, you beautiful bitch. I'm about to fuck you up with some truth.
But again, it's shit like that, and that would make things great when you have. For a brief minute, we were talking about a movie, and it sparked this discussion. It tends to do that when shit is good. When Angela, to bring it back to Angela said, it touched our souls. We wanted to know more. We wanted to.
Oh shit!
Angela, oh God! Inmates are running the asylum.
Well, it gave us something that it's like it actually brought up a passion project, or I shouldn't say project, but something you're passionate about.
Oh, all right,
shit!
that Angela.
I mean, we're getting damn near the 2-hour mark, anyways.
Yeah, it's almost time. But like you said, a passion thing. It's just something that we all like. And again, it brings that type of discussion, and it may not physically touch us or make us cry or make us emotional, but we enjoyed it enough to want to know more. We enjoyed it enough to want to seek out and.
Well, it's not even necessarily enjoyed it enough to want to know more. It could have been to postulate and theorize amongst friends to, basically have your potentially fringe conspiracies to world building of your own.
Yeah, and that's what makes great movies. When there are a shit ton of questions, I don't want to fucking know about Yoda's history. I never wanted to know about Solo, Han Solo's fucking history. Han Solo as a one-off character, well, not one-off character, but as he stood, was great.
Like you want to learn some things about Yoda. You want to learn more about his race than that. They've told enough about Han Solo that you don't need to learn more about him. If anything, it's going to cause a potential devaluing of him. It's kind of like the character of, or Johnny Depp's character as, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow, when it finally gets to the whole thing of like why he's a pirate. You find out the reason why he's a pirate is because he let 100 souls go that were supposed to be slaves, because he saw them as people and not slaves. So the person who banded him as a pirate saw 100 people as property and not as people, and he saw them as people, not as property.
No, the real reason he became a pirate is because he installed Napster in the 90s and pissed off Lars Ulrich.
But again, Frost, we learned everything we need to know about Hans in the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, everything we need to know about him. We didn't need to know how he got his name. We didn't need to know where he came from. We knew everything we needed to know about it. And what wasn't told to us in the original New Hope was told to us in the Empire Strikes Back. And then it was told again to us in fucking Return of the Jedi.
Gold.
Yeah, that's what we come to learn. We don't need to know about his ex-girlfriend, and we didn't need to know about the fucking sex bot that's in the fucking Millennium Falcon. We didn't need to know about that. We didn't need to know how he won the goddamn ship.
Anything of that can be summed up of how they did it in the prior back in the day. With something like that, you make a small comic or graphic novel, something small that doesn't need to. It didn't need an entire fucking movie that's pointless.
Yes, a small little one-off or maybe a 5-issue run that if you want to find out more, you can. But nowadays everybody gets an origin story and an origin movie, and we need to know how many times Batman's parents has been killed more than anybody's fucking parents in all of history.
That and Uncle Ben.
Yeah, that Uncle Ben and fucking Superman's parents. We've seen them die a lot.
Well, Superman's parents, other than in Man of Steel, most of the things Superman's parents don't die. Because
Krypton is close.
Oh, we're talking his actual birth parents. I'm thinking Ma and Pa Kent.
No, I'm telling Krypton. Krypton fucking every time they do an origin story for him, we all see Kryptonic blood. Like we no, seriously, like those three characters. Those three characters, everybody knows their backstory. We don't need origin stories for them. They are culturally ingrained in us.
That's why I bring up of like what made one of the good things of Batman v Superman is how within the opening sequence they gave a little history for anyone who didn't do anything, or it's like who might not have known of like why Batman was how he is, and that whole thing of like why his parents died, and that went over really quickly. Like you didn't have to have a fucking half-hour scene of all the things coming up. Shows, Wayne and Martha Kent. I can't remember fucking Bruce Wayne's dad's name.
Bruce Wayne. Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, Martha and Thomas Wayne dying, and then Bruce, and then it fast forwards to it. Like I had this conversation, oh Jesus Christ, this was like probably 10 years ago at a house party on base housing. I was bullshitting with a dirt boy, and that's actually what he called himself, since that is the nickname of his career field.
Okay.
And we were talking of the Marvel movies, and I said, like, with Deadpool and all these other ones, there's absolutely no reason in this day and age to have an origin story for any fucking one of them. He goes, yeah, man, but people might not know. I said, dude, it is a simple Google search away. He goes, yeah, but some people aren't going to want to read about them. Like, dude, do you not understand that simple Google search is going to bring you to a YouTube video where someone's going to explain his entire fucking history to you?
In 20 minutes or less?
Yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's right. And I'm like, duh, as I take a drag off my cigarette.
And even then, you for certain characters, their history is kind of in flux. How many times has Deadpool been, had a backstory that has a slight tweak to it? In one continuity, he's a mutate. In other ones, it's an actual mutation. In other continuity, he literally can't die because Thanos fucking cursed him.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the whole thing that was supposed to be for him originally was that he was given Wolverine's healing factor, and that's what really made him fucking crazy.
Yeah. But again, so you origin stories nowadays, unless you have if you're doing a specific comic run, if you're going to do a movie about a specific line, say Ultimate Age, then you need to stick with the Ultimate Age's origin stories. You can't go, you can't mix and match.
Well,
because then it confuses motherfuckers.
The biggest issue is when you look at something like Marvel or DC is because of all the different reboots that they've had, different origins, and they've restarted the stories so many times. They like to try to put too many stories together that don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like Batman v Superman should have just been Batman versus Superman, not adding the fucking Doomsday thing into there. That didn't need to get fucking jammed into there. Not adding fucking Wonder Woman into there. That didn't get fucking shoehorned into there. Stop trying to pick and choose different parts from different comics. Just stick with a single fucking story. That's it.
Well,
granted, it would.
What about the Spider-Man movie where they brought all the franchises into one story?
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, no, they brought in Andrew.
Oh, it's about No Way Home.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
That one wasn't bad considering the fact that if you look at it, I mean, I think for that one they still would have taken a bunch of little different things, but they basically just pulled into the whole thing. That's like, hey, Marvel, like typically DC has the different universes.
Yeah,
so
but
see the different universes of the different Spider-Mans.
But their origin story is still the same. It's fairly ubiquitous. Like, again, Uncle Ben dying is what sparks all three of them to become a hero. It's just three different timelines, essentially. Three different realities of the same events where they're the hero. It's not like using the Ultimate Age of fucking Hank Pym, where he's a fucking alcoholic and he's a wife abuser, versus Hank Pym in the the Marvel universe, the MCU's universe, where he's an old guy instead of being fucking the inventor Ultron. Again, Spider-Man is still fairly the same across all three timelines, or all three universes, or all three film series.
I like what Marvel did there, though. They explained the other franchise in a way that made sense.
I still have yet to watch it just because way before that one, I got burned out on Marvel movies a long time ago, and I just have not cared to start.
This isn't Avengers. It's not a typical Marvel movie. It has a much different flavor.
I still like how they had in there because I'd seen all but most of the Tom Holland ones, and I did like the fact that for Andrew
Welcome back.
The whole thing to where instead of letting Gwen die, he actually got to, granted he saved the MJ, but he still got to save her, and he's just like, I didn't let the person I was trying to save die. Like there was a lot of really good things about it.
Yeah, you should really take the time.
Batman versus Superman shouldn't even. Oh yeah, damn! James come back too. Batman and Superman shouldn't have had Superman establish the universe. Batman before you had him. Yeah, agreed. Like they didn't even have time to establish fucking that universe is Batman.
Well, I mean, in all reality, you don't really need to establish Batman. He's a well-known character because
but in that universe, Batman was a little darker. Brandon people that was a little dark for the canon universe Batman. Like he would never brand somebody.
It was supposed to go off of god damn it. Now I'm
Dark
trying to-
Knight.
And that's coming from a black man.
Well, no, I'm trying to remember the author, and it's one of Polly's
Miller.
Frank Miller.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Frank Miller's Batman.
Yeah, and which he was darker.
I'm still coming back. Okay, Tyr, I love you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
And
But
every-
Let her
I
get
gotta
it out.
argue Spider-Man with you.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
I
go.
absolutely love. I'm probably the only person who loved No Way Home, actually. But
no, you're not.
I have to say thank you. I have to say that the MCU's Spider-Man is unique in the fact that they completely removed Uncle Ben from the picture.
No, he still died. Like him
Uncle
dying.
Ben did not exist.
And
They mentioned him.
in Tom Holland's universe, they
Yeah,
Because-
they mentioned him in passing. He had little to nothing to do
but he still because
With-
that was because Tom
with Peter
Holland.
Parker's story.
That was because when Tom Holland was introduced, it wasn't in his own movie. He had already been Spider-Man up until that point, and Uncle Ben still died. That is the canon spark for him to become Spider-Man.
But
That
the-
death.
Did he
what they
die in the
did
Andrew
in
Garfield
Marvel-
movies?
What they did in
Yeah,
the Marvel,
he died in
yeah,
Andrew
they-
Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah, he did, and it was actually included in the movies.
Okay. I
Um,
don't remember it very well.
But the point of the Marvel universe is that Aunt May filled the entire role that Uncle Ben filled. For
All right, so my thing is Spider-Man doesn't become Spider-Man unless Uncle Ben dies. He can't do it. He can't make that connection of holy shit, my actions caused this. Like my inaction caused my uncle to die. I could have
he
stopped
didn't have
that criminal.
moment.
I hear the Frank's yearning to be filthy. Just
He
I get
didn't
it. Hold
have
on.
that moment in the Marvel universe until Aunt May died.
Yeah, but again, and without that spark, he can't become Spider-Man. Like the character makes no sense without Uncle Ben dying. Like that is literally ubiquitous to it. Like he needs that.
You
He-
literally took that and
He
created
needs
that
that.
yourself. Because if you watch Marvel, Uncle Ben was already dead before he
Yeah.
became Spider-Man.
It can't
I
happen.
don't know.
Like
I haven't watched it.
Even Aunt May repeats the words with great strength comes carrying. She takes the place of Uncle Ben in the
She
Tom Holland
does
universe.
entirely.
Yeah. She does.
That
But
is
he-
so dumb.
again, he can't become he literally can't be Spider-Man without Uncle Ben's death.
Well,
It may seem dumb from the perspective when you haven't seen the movie, but if you've seen the movie, it's very natural.
It
I'm
actually
not
is a wonderful.
I'm not denying that it could have been a very natural thing in there. It's just there was no need to change how the origin story was. Aunt May is supposed to be his rock to everything else.
The,
And
She
Uncle
has
Ben-
been his rock to everything else.
But that's the thing is, for every other story other than this one, Aunt May is his rock after Uncle Ben dies in that whole scenario. So
Yes.
it makes more sense to keep her that way than to have Uncle Ben already being dead and then have her die to fill that void. Because then who's filling that role that she's supposed to play as the I say wise in a way, but the wise, caring, older person that just cares for him in life.
Tony Stark
They-
plays that role.
I was gonna say they altered that by having Tony Stark.
Yeah.
be
That
And
should not be
character for
Tony
him.
Stark.
And
it should never
It's
be
okay
Tony
though.
Stark.
If you watch
in
the
case
movie,
of
it
the
doesn't
Multiverse of Madness,
feel bad.
Not the Multiverse of Madness, but
No way
No
home.
Way
No.
Home.
No Way Home.
they kind of, in a way, have Doctor Strange
Yeah,
lift
that's
up
true
that
too.
role after Tony dies.
Again,
He doesn't
that
do
Well,
it well
Oh,
because
okay,
he's
but
not.
because of the time frame, we'll have to continue the story or this conversation at another instance or offline because I'm pretty sure
Maybe
Terry's
that's the
just about
movie
to
that'll.
bounce.
Yeah,
All
maybe
right,
that's the
all
movie
right.
I'll pick for a movie night.
Okay, but before we go, I'm going to have a say on that.
Okay.
Tony Stark should be in the Holland verse of Spider-Man. Tony Stark should be ashamed because he lets Spider-Man suck his dick like it's a straw.
God damn it, old man. Always come. Kind of a.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'll go ahead and just get to this.
Thank you.
There it is. There's my
It's
friend.
time to stop. Where are your parents? It's time to stop. I love Filthy Frank. I need to get that way I can put it on the background of something. Maybe I'll put it in the background of I'll figure out how to do that shit. Kyrie, which screens aren't you on?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm not on Brian F's Twitch streams. I'm not on the Young Turks. I'm not on Matt Christensen's streams with Rebecca. What's her last name?
Her maiden name was Hargraves, but I don't know
That's
what
it.
her new name is now.
Did I call you back yet?
No, not yet.
And there you go,
Damn.
Tier. I just sent you this gift that I'm using.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
that's
Did I have to call you back? Has Steven Crowder called you yet?
No. I probably wouldn't want to work for Steven Crowder.
No, Steven Crowder's too busy stealing jokes from Monkey and Jack Cochran.
Yeah.
Has Monkey called you back yet? Like, you should get on extra.
Yeah. I've been on Monkey in the Morning once. That was like years ago, but only once. So I have been on that stream, so I can't count that as one of the streams I'm not on.
Okay. We are doing episodes 3 and 4 tonight. Sweet. I can't wait.
If you are a fan of the Tremors series, especially after the first 3 movies, the prequel is still a good movie in my opinion. But
I really like
the series well, and you can definitely tell they put it up for TV, especially in that first couple episodes of like, they wanted to say like fucker or asshole, and they're like friend.
Yeah. Rotten has his movie review channel. Technically, we're a TV show review channel at this point. We're reviewing the Tremors TV show. We did episodes 1 and 2 last weekend, and we're doing episodes 3 and 4. Tonight. You can catch it on his channel at around this time, about 12 o'clock midnight. Are you doing Talking Into the Void?
I have no idea, and I don't know about a game stream as well. And I got to get with you after stream because we're going to be doing a special Rotten movie review at some point with Hammer, you and me.
Yay.
Okay, sweet. Yay.
And
Angela,
Angela and James are welcome if they're available at the time.
Oh, we gotta have Angela.
Hers depends on her work schedule.
Yeah. Angela, are you going to be on Quippers tonight?
I am going to be on Quippers.
All right, so you'll
God
find
protect your
Angela.
soul.
you will find Angela on Quippers tonight with Jack Gunski, Tarbot, James Colley. I don't know who the other the other guests will be on that show, but you can find them at 7 o'clock tonight. Correct. You can find Hammer on the Millions of the Zoo. He's with Tari and
The Wednesday
Jen
show.
Shibaki. For the Wednesday show, yes, sir. The pre-show show is 8:45. Sorry, on Rumble. All that's linked in the description.
That's where we see all the really cool things.
Yes.
Yes, you can. You'll find, like I said, Tarbot is on the corner with Frosted Glass, Jack Gunski, and Moonshock. I don't know if he's doing it this weekend.
He should be.
You can find him on Quippers United with Angela Arrega, James Colley, and Jack Gunski. You can find him on Adam's Minions Night with Mr. Adam and Kefki, which is Mondays. You can find him on Hammers Wednesday night, Minions Night on Wednesdays with him and Genty Maxi. You can find him on next 6 minutes live streams.
If it's Terry, you can. If you throw a dart and he's not on that stream, he could be on it at some point.
Yeah, probably.
What you gotta do, you gotta throw salt behind you.
I'm pretty sure there's only like a few people he would not stream with, like Hassan Piker, because I'm pretty sure Terry would just rip into him and then leave.
Yeah,
Stream with Hassan.
I wouldn't stream with Hassan Piker. I would only stream with people that I actually knew. Well, there'd have to be like some.
Oh yeah, Frosted is on Quippers too. I'm sorry.
So like if it was me and like Frosted and a bunch of strangers, then sure that I might do that stream. But if it's Hassan Piker and me, God no, I don't want to talk to that guy alone.
Wait a minute, you need a cog to keep the gears moving. You need a buffer.
Yeah,
you can't do that shit alone.
We've gotten past pretty much about everyone in that, so I think we've reached the this portion of it.
Yeah.
God damn it! All right, Hammer, I want to thank you for coming on.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You are always welcome on, my friend. There it is. God damn it! I fucking hate these pop-ups. Trying to get to the brand so I can put the
closing show. I need to make a new closing thing for.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for. James Colley. Whenever he decides he's going to get back into streaming, he has his Nerd Out stream. I think that's everybody. Yes, he's on Quippers with Frosted Glass, Tyribot, Angela, and Gunski. Great friends of the show. Again, thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
See you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
And with that, the Midnight Show has been brought to a close.
Get out of here, you little bastards! Fucking little trash-eating pandas.
From the Midnight Crew,
I told you to get out of here.
we'd like to thank you for joining us.
I'm gonna fill you bastards full of lead.
We'd also like to thank our guests for joining us.
That's 3 of you down. How many more of you fuckers are there?
Please join us again next week.
I'll keep shooting. I got a lot of ammo.